So, this is your boy, Anthony D. Welcome to another one of it. Welcome to King's Convo. And it is my privilege, my pleasure to have a very, very dear friend and friend of the family with me this evening. It's a nice Sunday evening, a little cozy well, at least on my end to some extent. It kind of cool, right? I don't know what it might be on your part of the world, but if you're in Trinidad and Tobago, welcome the Caribbean around the world. Thank you all so much for being on the inside. Even if you're looking at this subsequently, I want you to know we love you and we appreciate the fact that you're viewing in. Yeah? So, today, this evening, we want to engage in a conversation that in some cases is taboo. Some cases we are fully aware of its impact in the lives of so many persons. But because this is King's Convo, we're dealing specifically with men. And this is not to say that this is a topic or an issue that women don't deal with. But we hope that even through our conversation, that it will also in some form or fashion help to give some sort of light and, directive towards moving away or treating with it or highlighting certain things that you probably didn't even know that you're actually faced with, having to actually deal with this addiction to porn and pornography. So this evening I have dear friend of mine, Pastor Marlon Alvarez. Yeah. I referred to him the last time that he's the lovable pastor. I know some person may want to argue about that. Hey, listen, that's one of the ways I have chosen to describe him. All right. But I really appreciate him being willing to be a part of this conversation. And when I reached out to him, one of the first things I did indicate to him is that he was one of the first persons who, as a pastor, right? I know many persons know him as a pastor, but I'm not leaning too much. I want to deal with him as the man this evening. But as a man and as a pastor, I was able and willing to share about his experience and what this challenge that he would have had, and hence the reason why I did reach out to him, and I was so glad that he decided to be a part of the conversation this evening. But before we go to that, I have a little icebreaker I want to ask you.
Wait. Before you go there, I want to ask the cameraman to keep the shot from about here up because they be a little fat. So
I think the camera make you look different.
Hello,
look buff and things sometimes.
Hello.
All right. We actually cameraman to help. All right. So here's what I have a little icebreaker for you. I'm going to paint a scenario for you,
Right.
and I want you to be. Be as honest as you can with the scenario. All right? So here's the scenario. So you wake up one morning, some day in the week, random day in the week, Monday to Friday, right? You could choose a day in the week. And the day starts off normal. You have what you normally do for breakfast? Like you have a routine as normally do for breakfast?
Nah.
Already?
How do you do breakfast?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But the day starts.
Right.
And while going through your day, the morning period, just around, let's say around 9 a.m. or so, you get a phone call. And it's from a bank. And it happens to be a manager from the bank.
Uh-huh.
And the bank manager calls and he says, Mr. Alvarez, I've been given some instructions. And I've been asked to relay these instructions to you. Uh-huh. Information and instructions. So the information that he's relaying to you is that there was a deposit of $1 million that was placed into your bank account. All right? But the instruction that he was given to make sure that you informed about the money, but you also have to follow the instruction in order for the money to have any value.
Okay.
You have to use up this in 24 hours.
Okay. What would I do?
What would you do?
First of all, I'll say thank you very much. For the longest while, I've been telling my wife, Jenny, to ask God to send us $1 million because apparently anything you ask him for, he gives it.
Right.
She hasn't asked him yet. So that might be an answer to prayer.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that actually Jenny and I have been talking about doing.
Right.
In terms of community outreach, community impact, and making a significant difference in people's lives where it matters.
Right.
And the biggest challenge is the availability of funds.
Okay.
So that would be like, we could immediately go on a spree. I want to say a spree, not a shopping spree.
Yeah, I get
We
you.
could immediately go on a refurbishment spree and just start to do what we've been talking about.
No, remember, you had 24 hours.
Yeah. So
All right,
we will get people because there are people who will be willing to do this. We're talking about construction. We're talking about minor repairs to homes, paint jobs, clean up a yard. change a door, a window, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we have been saying, like, if somebody gives us $8,000 to $10,000 per unit,
Okay.
the amount of homes you could actually renovate with that kind of money,
Right.
because it's most times it's just minor things that need to be done.
Okay.
I mean, we will we'll marshal the forces, we will call on people and get it done, and I'm sure we could get it done within the time.
Right.
Sure, we could get
So
it
you're
done.
using up $1 million in that 24
Well, if
hours.
they say that what I have to do, that what I have to do.
So,
But wait. So why they giving me the money if I have to use it in 24 hours?
That is stipulation.
They're giving me to use it in 24 hours.
To use in
so it's
24
not for
hours.
me to begin with.
It's for you. It's in your bank account.
But I
You
have to use it.
It has to be used up in 24 hours.
And if I don't use it in 24 hours, what happens?
Well, I don't know. They didn't give me that part.
And if I use it in 24 hours, what happens? I get in something else?
No, I didn't see that part either.
All right,
You
so
have $1 million for 24 hours.
So it doesn't matter whether we get it or not
No.
getting anything. If that happens, Daryl, to be quite honest with you, that what I just spoke about is what we will look to do right immediately. We look to put that in TV. We will begin making phone calls and sending messages and just get workers involved and just pinpoint. I mean, there are some ideas we already have. There are some places we already know that we have to go there, and we will just make sure that happens. I could see. Talk to the bank manager.
No, you all see why I say the love pastor, right? No, you all see the excitement. It's as if he actually know any morning he getting the phone call, right? But if it's one thing that I know about Pastor Marlon Alvarez, as I said, I'm not leaning too much on his pastoring responsibilities this evening, but it is just to kind of get an idea. This is genuinely who the guy is. He just loves helping people, and he and his wife has dedicated much of their life and their time towards that. And I think, in a good extent, because of that, God has also put people and things in place to make sure that He takes care of you all. You know, but again, thank you so much for being here this evening and to be a part of this discussion.
Evening,
I know
everybody.
that I know that over the last few years, you lost a couple of brothers. You lost your dad. In very, very recent time, you lost your mom.
Now you want to make me cry in public again.
Yeah, oh gosh, I'm sorry, but
Decide.
if you were to use one word, and I know that might be a challenge, but if you have to use one word that kind of helps to describe that feeling of your mom not being here anymore physically, what word do you think you would use?
I'll use the word pain.
Pain.
Because I'll add it to the fact of not just she not being here, but I'll add it to, as you just mentioned, all the other losses.
Okay.
How it all adds up.
Yeah.
And there is a level of pain. There's a level of emotional pain that comes with that kind of loss and that kind of absence.
Yeah.
And so a friend said to me, it's one thing to lose your father. It's a totally different thing to lose your mom.
Yeah.
You would know that.
Yeah.
You would know that. And then I have been saying, maybe up to this morning, I said it to some folks. In our minds, our parents don't die. In our minds, our parents are supposed to live forever.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't imagine them not being here. So when it happens, there is a shock to your system. There is an emotional pain that comes with it. And then it's like my wife and my mother used to talk like every day, right? Late in the night, they would be on the phone talking, and I would throw in my 2 cents and whatnot, but they would be the ones conversing. And so even if I am not actually conversing, I would be hearing her voice too and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like all of a sudden that just stopped. All of a sudden it's gone. And then of course the circumstances that led up to that. So it's like, I mean, in a sense, you got a little bit of weaning because for about 3 months she couldn't speak after suffering the stroke. So it kind of cushioned you a little bit in terms of not hearing her voice when she
it's almost
eventually
like you kind of
left.
being prepared to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at least she was still there.
Yeah.
You could have gone and see her. You could have see, I mean, you could have gotten the little 1 or 2 words that she would speak.
Yeah.
You could have still get the expression of frustration of trying to speak and nothing coming out and that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, Everything is gone. You go to the house and it's empty. You can't make that phone call no more.
Yeah.
So it's sorry to take so long on it, but
I understand.
I think the word I would use is pain.
Pain.
It hurts. It hurts.
What was life like for you growing up? In a capsule. I know.
No, I'm one of the worst persons to ask that kind of question because I don't remember much.
Oh gosh.
I always tell people I think I consider it a blessing sometimes.
Okay.
Because
Well,
it's easy
people,
for me to get
that's
past like hurtful things, and it's easy to get past disappointments and stuff. It's like the glass of milk fell down. Okay, well, all right, well, you can't put back the milk in the glass, so move on. Get next glass of milk.
Wow.
Or,
Okay.
or move on from that. But I think sometimes it works like a curse because there's some significant things that happen and you can't recall it.
Right.
So most of the things I remember from I know people who could tell you about stuff that they actually remember from when they were like probably just above being toddler stage.
Yeah. My big daughter tends to think she remember when she was 6 months old. She can remember what happened.
It's possible. But for me, most of the things I could recall from my growing up days are the things that were repeated in my ears over the years. The things that my siblings mentioned, that my mom would have mentioned. Those are it. So they stick.
Right.
Because I've constantly heard them, but I actually can't remember those things.
Wow.
But one of the things that I do remember, I remember, and I've always remembered this, I've always dreaded losing my parents.
Okay.
Always.
From since that time.
I've always thought about the day will come when they will no longer be here. What would it be like? And I'm not looking forward to it. So sometimes I'll be listening to music and it would take my mind back there. And I'm talking about this is over the years.
Yeah.
And it would take my mind to that place. So the tears would well up in my eyes. I would begin to feel as though it's actually happening. So that was like, that was a challenge for me all my life.
Okay.
But I hope I answered the question. My mind just kind of got all over the place.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I remember that Mommy used to take me to go with her to market. I think probably every Saturday, Mommy would go market. And she would, I don't know why me. I don't remember Eric or June or the others being there, but I used to be there. And we would go to market.
This is Arima Market or
Arima Market?
Arima, okay, right.
And when we were finished with the market, we'd walk across the Royal Castle. Chicken and chips, ice cream, whatever. And that stands out.
Okay.
Mom used to make soup every weekend.
Oh,
Jenny said that soup is what caused her to keep coming back. Because Mom used to pack a bowl after Jenny and I met. Mom used to pack a bowl. You know those plastic containers that had the
screw top?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mom used to pack that for Jenny every
Oh.
Saturday. So Jenny had her soup for the weekend. But it was up to now, I don't know anybody who makes soup like that. Yeah, it stood out. And the dumplings, I could talk about the dumplings, but I wouldn't talk about it here because there was one of the dumplings that is only in my big man years. I finally figured out what that actually meant.
Oh, geez,
the name for that particular dumpling, but I couldn't mention it on air. Right? So
some people don't talk in the mind and try and figure it out.
Yeah.
We didn't print it out. Yeah, we didn't print it out. Yeah.
Those things stand out. My dad was a limer man.
Right.
He was a drinker, smoker, lineman. He used to work hard too, but he wasn't like I don't think he was the lovey type of person.
Okay.
Come and hug you up and tell you
Kinda
you
rough,
those kind of thing.
tough kind of
more
father.
kind of soul boy.
Okay.
My dad used to walk with a with a little bump. And he could halfway stick out the back pocket.
Saga boy.
Yeah,
Saga boy.
Saga
Yes,
boy.
yes.
That is it.
Saga boy. Yeah.
And you know what? And you know there are things that go with being a Saga
Yes.
boy. So he was that.
Yeah.
Right. But he provided for us well.
Right.
Jenny often says that in her mind, we were like probably rich. Well, not like wealthy, but we were like not on the poor end of the spectrum.
Your business was taken care of.
Yeah, and Daddy saw that our business was taken care of. He took care of business. He took care of us. He provided for us, but he was dread to deal with too.
Okay.
I remember Daddy putting out my 2 eldest brothers.
Wow.
Now, at the time, that didn't register. At the time, that was like, okay, Daddy, tell them to leave. Again, now I'm also a slow learner, right? So it's only in my adult years, it kind of, you kind of
figure out what those
the
experiences
dynamics of those kind of things,
Okay.
and how the kind of impact that would have had even on them. At the time, you were thinking that you're a little boy, you play, you having fun. Your big brother's just no longer around, that kind of stuff. But some of those are the things that stuck with me, that have stayed with me over the years. The neighbors, 2 families in particular, the one behind us, the Hayneses, and the ones next to us that we still refer to as our brothers and sisters, the Passad family, and stuff. And we grew up like close to those 2. We would be in and out of each other's houses and stuff and whatnot. And those kind of things have lingered. Those kind of things have stayed. And you have those people in your life up to today still that you could still connect with from time to time. Like even with this situation with Mommy's passing, they constantly check on us. Up to 2 days ago, one of them reached out again, just checking in to see how you all doing and stuff.
That's nice, man.
I mean, it's amazing. So there's the mix of the, I guess, the ugly stories and the good ones. But all in all, they're warm memories of a family for the greater part that was close.
Right, okay.
And have remained significantly close. Yes, we have our issues like everybody else.
Yeah, every family.
We've remained significantly close over the years. We could easily be there for each other without a problem, and that kind of stuff. Again, I don't know if that answered the question. I don't know if I'm talking too much.
That's fine. That's fine.
The
conversation building nice so far. So, in terms of your teenage years, most teenage boys have a particular experience. It's either and I was discussing this with a couple guys last time, and we were talking about, in terms of your experience as a young man would be one of a few options. One, you have a father who was tough with you, so your experience, you're playing football or in athletics, or you're getting exposed to maybe trade, or you're doing work at home, and there's a very, very tough experience that you would have. You're built to be solid, to experience that roughness. And then you may have like a small percentage of them that have that exposure to a father who is very much on the softer side and is grooming them to be, for you as a teenager, right? As a teenager in particular, what was your experience like as a teenage?
Actually, recently, and with some recent events, I've started thinking about that.
Right.
And I hear people at funerals and stuff during eulogies talking about the role their father played in their lives, or their mother, or this one or that one.
Yeah.
And you hear significant things. And I sometimes reflect on my own experience. And Daddy wasn't the person who actually tried to groom us in any particular direction or the other.
Okay.
He took care of us. He provided for us. He would often share important life lessons with us, but never actually particularly trying to guide us one way or the other.
Okay.
That didn't happen.
Okay.
Mommy had plans for us. Mommy had thoughts of things that she wanted to see us do as a unit, as the children. One of the things Mommy always spoke about was dressing us in a uniform and like creating like a marching band kind of thing, and have us go through the streets.
There's all these siblings.
Have us go through the streets playing music and stuff and that kind of thing. It was she always used to talk about wanting to do that with us.
Any reason why?
I have no idea up to now. Actually, I don't even think I've ever actually asked her why. Listen, in the last few years, there was things I started thinking about. I need to ask my mother this. I need to ask her. I need to get some more information. I never actually got around to it. You know?
Okay.
But so you didn't have, at least from my recollection, you didn't have that specific kind of, let me try to guide them here or guide them there, that kind of thing. Mommy took us to church in the earlier years, or sent us, as the case might be, until she eventually got saved also. But what discipline was present.
Okay.
They didn't just allow us to do whatever we want.
Okay.
There was discipline.
Yeah.
That was instilled. And I guess probably in their own way, that was supposed to be the guiding lines.
Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Right? When I was going Sangre Grande Junior Sec, this is my early teens, right? I used to get talk for how I would greet my father and mother. No, that
Talk
time,
from like friends.
Wait. You don't rush me.
All right.
That time wasn't like now. If my father and mother, if you could have bring us from then into now,
Yeah. That's right.
I would not get talk alone. I might get killed, because the talk was, we're going to know you and your father, boy. Because at 12, 13, 14, my father and my mother, we would kiss each other on the lips to say goodbye and to say hello and stuff, and was like nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't any awkwardness. It wasn't any, whatever the word is. You know? And so when my schoolmates realized that, they started giving me talk.
Yeah.
So there was that level of affection. I don't know. I can't say that everybody in the family felt that.
Okay.
But I felt that from them. And that's one of the reasons why when I would think in terms of when they leave, what would it be like? How would I deal with it? That kind of stuff. But there was that, to me, warmth.
Yeah.
That I never knew them as I could talk to them about anything. I never knew that. I don't know if, and I can't remember seeing anybody in the family like
have that
doing
kind of
that, having that kind of rapport with them.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it never became an issue, because I guess like for me, I come in from school and somebody tapped me. When I go back to school the next day, me and them as friends. So me coming home to tell my man that somebody tapped me and we need to do something about it. That is,
okay.
So there was never something for me to talk with them about in terms of a problem to figure out or anything like that. But they always kept us close. At least some of us. I was talking to somebody about that recently. And so as far as I'm concerned, I never felt like I lacked anything.
Okay.
From them.
Like
they never didn't do anything they were supposed to do.
Right.
That kind of stuff. I mean, now as I'm learning more about parenting from a biblical perspective, you'll obviously see things that are important for a parent to do with a child, especially in the early stages and stuff. But I can't actually look back in terms of our relationship and say that there was any significant thing lacking and stuff. But at the same time, it wasn't like hard growing up under them. They didn't.
The life was not one that you could say that was daunting. No.
We enjoyed life, boy.
Yeah.
We enjoyed living on the
and I
farm.
guess country life too.
But we used to ride the pig like horse. We had a big pig, boy, and Jumbo, and we used to jump on the back and ride them like horse and thing.
Right.
We had a cow used to come by the house and watch news every evening, lie down on the lawn and wait until 7 p.m. 7 p.m. panorama starts, chuck her head in by the window, watch the news, and then bust it back down the moo and gone back down by the pen and stuff. We really had a good time.
Right.
Christmas time, 3 weeks before Christmas, we killing pig every day.
Right. Yeah. You always said that was the part of the business that
was exactly the man making pudding. I was in our church this morning and Pastor I've been talking about pudding and pudding and how we used to enjoy that until we see in the Bible, don't abstain from blood. And like, God, what are you doing? Putting that.
You had to deal with that part of your life, no?
No, listen, I cannot necessarily speak for all my siblings.
Understood.
So I can speak for me.
Yes, yeah.
I enjoyed growing up with my parents. I enjoyed having them present. I enjoy being there with them. I enjoyed growing up under their hand. I learned from them. Again, not that they were teaching specific lessons, but there were things I learned. When Daddy would give us some of the stories of his life, you learn certain things from it, that kind of stuff. When Mommy sit down to talk and to open up her heart and to share some of her background and her stories and things, you learn some important things. And then you get to kind of see where they're coming from.
Right.
But you begin to see the filters that they are now living through.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
One of the reasons why I asked about the teenagers, most boys, right? I could remember for myself as well. I think I was probably in form 2, right? Back then they had something called Playboy. I played them Playboy books on them. And I remember one of the guys brought one. He didn't bring a whole book. Looked like he tore the page. I don't know where he got the page from, where he sourced it from. But he brought the page, I don't know, 1 or 2 pages, I can't remember. But it was the first time of being exposed to pornographic, what is known as pornographic material now. Yeah. Right? Back then it was just boys being inquisitive.
Yes.
Right? For you, when having explained what your teenage life would have been, at what age did you find yourself being exposed to that type of content?
I'm glad this. So, can I say hello to 2 people?
Yeah, of course.
2 people on the thing, Leslie and Francis and Castle Lewis. Good evening.
All right.
I see nobody else. Okay.
Hi, Leslie.
So, I'm glad you asked that because it's one of the things I wanted. I thought about that I might want to bring up in this conversation.
Yeah.
See, curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Curiosity doesn't only kill the cat. Curiosity doesn't mess up your life. Right? So again, and then you have the issue of influence.
Yeah.
The people you interact with that could have good and negative influence on you. Right? So my introduction to sexuality, let me use that term for now.
Mm-hmm.
So before soap operas came on TV, if I remember correctly, but I know they used to have them on radio. But then they used to have these magazines, these romance magazines. I don't know where they were from. They would be not a comic book.
Not Mills and Boons. Not
Mills and Boons were novels.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
These books, they were a little bigger than a comic book.
Okay.
But they were photos, not drawings. They were photos.
Okay.
So it was like a soap opera in a book form.
Oh.
Right? So you would have all of these normal soap opera issues, adultery, and who take who from who, and all of those narratives.
Not wrong a while, boy.
The thing is, and I think a lot of it depends on who you are. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's important for us as we begin to go up to try to figure out where we are at in terms of our emotions, in terms of our interests, and all that kind of stuff. Because for some person that is just for them just like a comic book and they move on.
Right.
But for somebody like me, that piqued my interest. I wanted to find out more.
Right.
So I didn't actually go digging, but you almost couldn't wait to get your hands on another one.
Oh.
Or the next page to see what happened.
Right.
And stuff. And then you eventually progress to the materials that were more graphic. Not necessarily Playboy.
Right.
But there were others that were graphic enough for you to not have to use your imagination. You could just figure out what is happening here now.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then as a teenager growing up, this is the time now you're beginning to get interested in the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Your hormones kick in hell and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
no going on with you.
And these things ain't helping. These things ain't calming you down. They just encouraging you and stuff. And then, so what happens now is that the interest begins to build. And then if somebody makes a suggestion as to where you could find more material, it's not hard for you to start heading in that direction. And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it started with that magazine kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you would hear talk about this person from the community and that person, and how we saw them in the car across so, and we catch them doing this and doing that. And your mind now, you're not exposed to this.
Yeah.
You're innocent. But your mind now begins to race. You're trying to figure out exactly what did they see. You understand? And then, depending on how much they saw, they begin to talk now about what they actually saw.
Yeah, so the conversation in itself, right?
So the conversation itself now piques your interest. And it's only a matter of time now of finding material to feed.
Yeah.
To feed that.
And this would have been during your teenage years.
This is my teenage years. This is me as an innocent, nice, decent young boy.
Yeah.
Going to church. I often refer to myself as my parents' best child. Parents' most well-behaved child.
I'll leave that for you and your siblings.
Listen, I want that pair of slippers on the side there, and mommy say, no, you can't get it. And no problem. And I just go across and find something else to do. No pouting, no nothing, no fuss, no fret. I was the best child.
Right.
Ask Eric. He might disagree with our business.
So, all right. So you're in your teenage years. Your interest starts. So there's something they call, and I've been hearing this term a lot through some research, and I'm looking at different documentaries and stuff on different types of addiction, and something called dopamine. And they said it's almost like one of the reasons why people become addicted to things. That first experience, the what it does, the peak that it gives. What somebody who eventually becomes addicted, that they keep searching for that same experience. They're trying to relive it. And because of the fact that sometimes they don't get it from the same source, they escalate.
Exactly.
So they go, And so I'm listening to what it is saying, and I'm thinking likewise the same thing, that you would have had initially that experience, and then you realize, but this thing seems interesting. This thing had me feeling a particular way.
Yep.
So now you're trying to find things to feed it,
yep.
Right? So this is in your teenage years. How, from that initial experience, what type of journey it took with you as you moved from your teenage years and you gradually moved? Is it that you had that period in time that you just stopped? Like, what did that look like for you? To be quite
honest, it's like it just phased out.
Okay.
It's like it just phased out.
This would have been like at what point in time? Like
this
maybe getting
like,
into your...
This is like
getting into your adulthood?
This is like even
during the same time?
Yeah, this is like...
Okay.
Like, it's like it was a phase.
Okay.
It was like an experience, and then it's like, okay, that you move on from that.
You move on, okay.
You move on from that.
Right.
Of course, now you're in school, you're in secondary school now, and all the girls looking nice.
Right.
Right. And you want to, and you want that one to be a girlfriend, and maybe that one there, or maybe that one across. So,
or if all that's possible, all of them could be. That's fine. Yeah.
That's but because of my general upbringing, and I gave my life to Christ when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
So that actually tempered my overall behavior.
Okay.
So even though I'm seeing girls that I'm interested in most cases, I'm a Christian, they're not.
Right.
So it's like you kind of want to think about pursuing, but the unequally yoked thing. I mean, even not early in my Christian life, I knew about that.
Right.
So it's like you kind of want to pursue, but at the same time, you're trying to be cautious.
Yeah.
And hopefully you could swing them across in your belief system, and then maybe something could happen. But
it had any girl that sorry, I was like, I don't care if you're a Christian. And plus you do it with that with some sort of intent.
I think what I experienced was there were one or two who might have been willing to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but not necessarily pursuing it.
Okay.
So they were, and I was like extremely shy. I didn't know how to track girl and thing. I was tell people that I didn't know nothing about tracking girl and stuff.
Right.
If we are friends, and it's like
a mutual understanding.
Yeah, it's like if I begin to feel attracted to you somewhere along the line, I will let you know. But it's not like me pursuing.
Okay.
Like pursuing you.
Right.
Like
you didn't have that hunter.
Yeah,
contact.
no, I didn't have that. I didn't know nothing about that. That's why I don't go hunting right up to now still. I don't go hunting at all. Right? But so even during that time, even then, my thought was in terms of like having a girlfriend.
Right.
But even then I wasn't even thinking sex and that kind of stuff. You're growing up, you're a young boy, you see a girl you like, she.
Yeah, that's
you understand?
yeah.
I mean, this is the time. I mean, I don't know if they do that still, right? Nowadays. This is the time of folding a piece of paper and pelting the girl in class with it.
Yeah,
pulling the girl ponytail.
Being a nag, and that's how she had to interpret that.
You understand? I don't do that nowadays. But that's how you try to communicate what you're feeling.
Right.
At least for me. Right now, I knew about people who were going the distance.
Yeah.
I mean, fellow students who were engaging in sexual activity and stuff and whatnot. I really wasn't actually interested in going in that direction. I knew what it was to be a follower of Christ even at that age. So that was not my thing. As a matter of fact, I had developed, in my earlier teen years, my intention, and this was before, actually, this had to be before teens, because I gave my heart to Christ at 11. But in my years before that, my thought was to be a playboy. That was supposed to be my career.
Oh.
Yeah, I zeroed out. I zoned out from the idea of marriage. My thought was I would have a different girl every day, and I would live in a fancy house and drive fancy cars and things and whatnot. What? And I would just be playing around.
What caused it to have that?
I have no idea. What's the TV? I feel it's TV.
Oh, something is.
I feel we were addicted to TV.
Oh.
We would watch TV whole list and every get chance, right? So I feel it's TV. See what those images that they push, that they push on you. So I think that was that. But so when I got saved, I dropped that.
Okay.
I dropped that imagery. I dropped that so-called ambition, and I wanted to serve Christ.
Right.
But of course, I'm now coming into my teen years, and the hormones are beginning to kick in. You're definitely beginning to get interested in the opposite sex and stuff. So now I have to navigate this new interest that's developing in me together with my commitment to walk with the Lord and stuff. So the issue of pornography wasn't an issue then. Okay. That actually came up later in my life, literally. Quite much later in my life.
And what would have caused that? At what point in time, and what would have caused that?
I think it was a re-sparking of the interest.
Okay.
That was sown since earlier.
Right.
As we spoke about the magazines and stuff. So now it's like you're in the real world now.
Right.
You're an adult.
Right.
Yeah, basically an adult now. I'm an adult at this point.
Okay.
Right? And it's like, so now you're hearing people talking. And what they're talking is like, as far as you are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a child. I don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. Okay. I have not been exposed to that level. So they're now pushing talk and telling me things like, I ain't begin to live yet. You ain't begin to live yet, boy. And you don't know what you're missing out on. And then they would talk about stuff that they have done. All right. And I'm talking, these are big men and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they're talking because I guess as far as they're concerned, everybody doing these things.
Yeah.
So
that's normal.
Yeah.
For them.
So now my interest begins to peak. So I start now, let me find out more.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could see what they're talking about. So you start looking for stuff now. Papers, magazine. That time, I don't even think YouTube was around that time yet.
Okay.
Right? So there was no like searching on YouTube, but papers and magazines and stuff and that kind of stuff.
The print version of it.
Yeah. Listening to their stories.
Yeah.
and stuff and whatnot. So the interest begins to build and build. And then eventually you begin to find sources of for material.
Yeah.
And you begin to pay attention to it. And before long, it's like just what you're saying. It's like you want to relive that
The
feeling
experience.
over
Yeah.
and over. So you keep going back. Let me see some more. Let me see some more. And that kind of stuff.
No. When people are describing addiction, right? They normally will describe addiction from I didn't want to go to like one of those clinical definitions, but let me share one.
Okay.
So it says that addiction is a chronic, compulsive, and often relapsing disorder that is characterized by a powerful urge to seek and to use substance or engage in a behavior that has harmful consequences. They say it is considered a medical disease and it involves complex interaction between the person's brain circuits, the genetics, the environment, and life experiences.
Beautiful.
Right? That's one
Nobody
of those,
understands.
Right. That's one of those real, how do you put it? Academic
Yes.
description.
Yeah.
Now, to break it down generally, an addiction is something that you almost have to some degree, you have very little control of because it pulls you in a particular direction. And it doesn't matter how devastating it is. It has that strength to keep pulling you in the direction. Would you say that you would have been addicted at any given point in time to porn or pornographic material?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There was a time I got addicted. Now, I may want to differ a little bit
No problem.
from the details of that clinical description. Because that description would indicate that you cannot break that addiction.
Yeah, to a good extent, yeah.
Right? That description would indicate that you can't break that. You cannot make a decision to pull away from that. But the reality is, you can make a decision to break the addiction. But there are some things that need to be put in place in your own mind, in your own heart,
To reach there.
to reach that point.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is, you get hooked, and I prefer to use the layman's term because that long description people don't understand. I think it's just say it. So you get hooked.
You get hooked, right,
You get
yeah.
hooked. You get hooked, and it's difficult to let go.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not impossible.
Right.
It's difficult to let go, and it's easier to not fight it than to fight it.
Why was that? Is it that it was doing something for you that you...
Well, to begin with, even when we realize that something is not good for us, if it feels good, there's a tendency to want to stay with it.
Okay.
Right? There's a tendency to get lost in the moment, to get lost in the experience.
All right.
When you come out of it for the moment, there is the guilt, there is the shame, there is the sense of embarrassment and humiliation, even though it's just you know and nobody else knows. But when the feeling basically, let's say, I'm using the term, takes you over,
Right.
rather than fight it, it's easier to just go with
Give
it.
and take.
It's easier to just give into it and deal with the consequences afterwards.
Afterwards,
As if,
yeah.
in fact, at that moment, you're even thinking about consequences. At that moment,
Because you
all
just
you're
wanna
thinking
exist
about
almost like
is
that-
what you
that
want to
period in time.
feel in that moment.
Yeah.
So that becomes the center of your universe at the point in time. And but if you come to the place where you can realize that this is not helpful to you, you can want to break free, and you can break free. But again, there are steps to that.
To that,
It doesn't
yeah.
just happen just so.
Yeah.
No. There are miracles that could change a person's behavior like that.
In a click, yeah.
But the average individual, it don't work like
it's
that.
a process.
You have to go through a process. You have to go through a process.
So I want to come. We'll come to that point of getting over, because I know definitely you would have made that journey towards that place as well. But one of the things I wanted to ask is, I want to ask is, during that time, as you said, during that moment, you really didn't want to, you just wanted to experience whatever you wanted to experience. Was it that it was helping with something? Do you think that, because some people, sometimes because of what they're going through, sometimes emotionally, mentally, what life has placed before them,
right,
and the environment, that becomes like a getaway. It becomes something that gives me an ease from the reality of what I'm dealing with. But for you, is there anything that you can say that, me exposing myself to this material, to the pornographic material, was helping me, or is just that, what?
Just worthlessness.
You just enjoy
was
it.
Just worthlessness. No, so again, for me, it was, okay, so one of the realities is that, now there are exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, men are turned on sexually by what we see.
Yeah, visuals.
And sometimes, and depending on what we hear also.
Yeah.
Right?
So some do with smell as well.
Well, yes.
So many different.
Right.
Yeah, but you're correct.
Right.
Visual is like a key thing for most men. Yeah.
So here am I in the stages of my life where I am experiencing what it is to be sexually stimulated.
Right.
Here am I finding out about material I could put my eyes on that would feed that.
Okay.
Now, any man who has been sexually stimulated knows it's a nice feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't want to relive that?
Yeah.
So go for it.
Right. Okay.
So again, in my case, it was so I have to acknowledge it was just that. It was just one
almost
thing.
like a vice.
Literally a
Right,
vice.
yeah,
Literally, it was exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't no legitimate reason for it. Some people would say they go into porn because their marriage life ain't going so good, sex life ain't going so good, and so they're doing that. It was nothing like that. This was just literally a vice.
Right. Okay.
Literally, that is what it was. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, just the feeling.
That's the feeling.
That's the feeling.
I know you said that you were around men, other guys who were talking about the material, right? For you as an individual, just exposing yourself to the material. I know you just said it as advice, so you're just kind of feeding that vice. Your self-image, your personality, your esteem. Were any of these aspects of yourself affected? Like, did you feel like, no, I know. As them for that I'm talking about, I see women doing this. I see men doing this. It
actually did nothing for me.
Nothing at all.
If it did anything for me, was probably to make me question how to put it? Probably to make me question if I could actually be with this woman today and another one, a different one at another time.
Okay.
In other words, if it's anything, it probably made me question what my performance could be.
Right.
But it did nothing else for me. It didn't make me feel any better about myself. In terms of conscience, it made me feel worse about myself.
Right. Okay.
But in terms of it altering my personality, it make me feel like, hey, I'm Mr. Macho now.
Right.
None of them. It did nothing for me.
Right.
It did nothing for me.
Were you married at any point in time?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And part of this was during the earlier part of my marriage.
No.
And it had nothing to do with my marriage. As I said, it was just plain vice.
And the reason why I asked that if you were married at that time, because you made mention of the fact of questioning whether or not you can be with this woman now, then with this next one. Most pornographic material sell a depiction of sex in a way that is very much unrealistic.
Yeah.
Right? From the way men look to the acting itself, all the different things.
Yeah.
It sells, something that's very unrealistic. For you, did you having been married at that early stage, did you ever wonder, well, I'm seeing men doing this, well, how come? Did you ever have that type of inner dialogue or issue?
I think to some extent it might have come up in the thought, in the mind. But I think I also would have realized that a lot of that stuff is fake.
Yeah.
A lot of it is fake. And therefore, well, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. So it's like, don't even bother.
Right.
Don't even bother.
Right.
But I'll tell you honestly, I think more significantly than just what I would have been seeing or reading or listening to, and I want to address that listening to and reading part, is the fact of the feeling that it brought on.
Right.
Not so much wanting to pattern this, that, or the other, but the feeling that it brought on personally, the increase, what do you call it, libido,
the stimulus.
Right, that type of feeling.
Yeah.
And for me it was like trying to recapture that over and over.
Yeah.
Trying to get that back over and over.
Because they do it for females, yeah? One of the
course.
reasons why when they do like the Mills and Boone and some of these romance novels and stuff, they know again, women in many instances, words are like key for them. So you find that putting it in that format is how they would be able to,
So I actually wanted to address that because some people think that, I don't look at porn, but I read it.
Yeah.
I don't look at it, but I listen to audio.
Yeah.
And what we fail to realize is that the way the brain works, words paint pictures. So whether I'm reading it or listening to it, my mind creates the video.
Yeah.
So while I'm not watching a video on the TV,
and even songs, I remember songs.
Exactly so. So I'm actually watching the video in my mind. It's like almost like virtual reality.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's the same thing I'm doing. Because there was a time when I tried to justify, okay, I'm no longer looking at it, but I go read it. And then I had to accept, but you're doing crap. You're just creating the video in your mind like a virtual reality screen.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing you're doing. There's no difference. There's no difference. So cut it out.
Yeah.
But I'll tell this, but I'm thinking this also. Now, people know that what they see is staged.
Yeah.
They know it. But it's just like how we deal with death. We know death comes. We know our family members, our friends will die.
Yeah.
We know it, but we don't consciously think about it. So we push it somewhere in the back there. It does happen.
Yeah.
But right now it ain't real. So people know that what they're seeing is staged, it's fake, it's amplified beyond what is real.
Real, yeah.
But they push that aside. And they latch on to the feeling that it brings, the interest that it stirs, and they hold on to that. So as much as they know it's fake, it's staged, it's not real, this is not how it really happens, they keep going back for it over and over and over.
Yeah.
Because it's satisfying the thirst. It's satisfying the hunger. It's satisfying the craving.
I want to share this experience with you just as you're getting into dealing with the visual and the auditory.
The relative
So,
here, boy.
so a teacher at where I'm presently working, she asked us one day, she said, listen, I need you all to have a conversation. So that was another young man and myself to have a conversation with some young fellas, because she found that they were so sexually charged that she was having a problem. It was that bad in that they were making sexual comments and allusions to the teachers. Right? Now, I know, or if you know you like a teacher, and whatever, all right, you like a teacher, and that. But to go to the extent where you are making advances, that was like next level.
Yeah.
And so we decided, okay, my other buddy and we decided, okay, we're gonna have a conversation with her. So we just decided, let's hear from them, what's happening with them, as young men, what's going on with that whole, classroom are just boys, different ages, right? And I'm talking probably they might have ranged probably like from about 13, 14 up to about 16, 17. And I remember this one particular boy, he shocked me. Because I painted a scenario for them, and I said, many of you all keep thinking about these simple little one-off moments in life, and not thinking about broader, a broader scope, and stuff. So I painted, I said, many of you all, you all think about the fact that, you just want to do something, be this sex image, for whoever, female or whatever. I say, you're going to get older, and this is me that's been a simple scenario. I say, you're going to get older, and, if you continue with that mindset, you might just feel it's okay just to have a woman out there, whether she married or not, it doesn't matter, you go and you have your session with her and whatever. And one of the guys was like, yes, there's nothing wrong with that. I said, nothing wrong. And I said, so you okay with just going and, entertaining yourself with this woman and just leaving, and then she's there with her husband, and taking care of him. Yes, so once I get what I get, I good enough. So I said, you okay? And I'm trying to delve into the mindset, right? I said, so you okay with, your little 5, maybe at very best 10 minutes or so. I say, nah, sir, don't worry yourself. That thing to do something, keep you do something, going, man. I say, oh. No, that opened up my mind to where their mindset was at. In that, not just the mind of relationships is irrelevant. Once I'm sexually satisfied, I'm good. But that there are these images that they have embraced, and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
So because I'm listening, you're talking about the fact that people didn't know its stage, but mentally they still hold on to it. And the thing is that because this generation, the younger generation now, many of them, because social media, which is still media, depicts certain lifestyle to them, they gravitate and they hold it because now, reality TV, like that is what it is. It's like, I want that. I good with that. And not realizing that you're setting up yourself.
So, the average beer advertisement have a half-naked woman somewhere close to the bottle.
Yeah, and you don't ever see her when you're buying the beer.
The average, well, maybe not so much in Trinidad, but in some places, the average car advertisement, there's a sexy woman somewhere close to the car.
Yeah.
Now, these people who producing these things, they have studied and they know that is going to inveigle men to come and buy that car.
Yeah.
Man ain't thinking he ain't getting the woman with the car.
Correct, yeah.
But he going after the car still because that image says to him,
she's going to come with that vehicle.
Although he knows she ain't coming with the car.
Yes.
But the image stays. It makes an imprint in him.
Yeah.
And he goes after it. Now, I want to use this point to bring up James. The book of James says, every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. So, being tempted is not sin. What we do with the temptation is where sin comes in.
Right.
But temptation comes not just from the devil, but from what is
Something
already
on the
inside of us.
inside,
And if we
yeah.
feed what is inside of us,
Yeah.
and I'm listening to you talking about a young man, and obviously he has been feeding on
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that mentality don't happen just like that.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, what I realize with pornography dehumanizes. If a man is engaged in
yeah.
pornography, if a man watches pornography,
Yeah.
it dehumanizes woman.
Yeah.
He sees woman as a sex object. She's no longer a person. It doesn't matter who she is just a sex object.
To
She's not.
satisfy-
She's,
to
yes,
satisfy
that's all
my
she's there for.
gratification.
She's not a human being. She's not a person. There is no concern. There's no concern for her well-being of her life. She is just an object to satisfy, just to satisfy yourself.
Yeah.
That is mean.
Yeah.
That is mean. And I know I will be jumping the gun by saying this, but I'll say it. One of the issues in overcoming this addiction is seeing it for what it actually is.
Yeah.
Until it's seen for what it actually is, the person who is addicted will never really be willing to do the work to let it go. But we feed ourselves.
Yeah.
The scripture says, whatsoever you yield your members as instruments to, you become servants to that.
Yeah.
And there's a saying in dietary stuff, you are what you eat. Right? And we don't realize what we put into us.
Yeah, we're feeding ourselves.
That is what shapes our character. It shapes our attitudes. It shapes our belief systems. It shapes our how we see things.
Yeah.
And when we feed ourselves on porn, then actually that's all you can think about when the day comes.
Yeah.
You don't really think about nothing else.
You know, you talked about the fact of it dehumanizing women. Many young men, in instances like that, refer to women, they use certain language for women. And I think to a very good extent, that's where you kind of realize that their perception of this human has been reduced to that simply
right.
as something
A
that's
piece of meat,
satisfying.
a piece of meat.
A piece of meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in some cases they're called that.
That's right.
You understand?
Yep.
One of the things that, we definitely know that affects relationships, but for you, did you at any point in time have any problems with relationships because of your initial
No.
exposure or anything like that?
I didn't have problems with relationships.
Okay.
But I eventually came to the place of realizing that, just as I explained,
Yeah.
that I was dehumanizing women.
Okay.
I started to see women not as people,
Right.
not as another human being, but as a sex object. So I even thought, right now, I haven't actually looked at the definition in the dictionary, the word sexy. When you look at somebody and say they're sexy, what does that actually mean? And now, in my mind, that what the definition of that is, that person good for sex. To me, that's what sexy means.
That's my take. I remember, I remember a woman described my daughter. She was about probably 3 or 4 years old. And, we now dressed her up for some little event. And the way she described, oh God, look how sexy she looked. Like, I put her up. I said, no. I said, my child is not looking sexy. Find some other description.
That's right.
You understand? You
That's
can't be calling
right.
my 3-4-year-old sexy. Nah. But sorry, go ahead.
But that's how
Yeah.
that's how we think. And then we use the words that continue to feed that and stuff. And then as we've been saying, you keep trying to relive that excitement, that high.
Yeah.
You keep trying to relive that. And it actually didn't affect my ability to deal with people, but at some point I realized that I was not actually looking at people the way I should be seeing them, as human beings.
Okay.
I was seeing them viewing them in this perverted way.
Right.
But I was able to, I guess, harness that and still be able to relate to people properly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But this is where sometimes we carry on with stuff because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody is seeing, nobody is realizing that I am not thinking of you properly. So it's easy for me to continue in that vein.
In it, yeah.
But when you finally come to terms with it, you begin to make the adjustments in your mind and your heart.
Would you consider that being one of your turning points, or that would have been one of your turning points?
It was. Actually, one of the biggest turning points for me was, now I had reached the place where I had gotten fed up.
Okay.
Because as I said, remember I was trying, here am I trying to balance my interests in girls now,
Yeah.
who are not Christians, with me being a Christian.
Right.
So later on, I'm trying to balance me being a Christian with me engaging in pornography.
Right.
So there's this constant struggle that you keep falling flat on your face with.
Right.
You keep losing the battle.
Yeah.
So then you begin, we're talking in the third person. So I begin to want to break free from this.
Okay.
So there's one time when I started praying, and I've told people, sometimes when you need to break free from something, whatever it is, that you do not actually want to let go, don't go and lie to God and tell him you want to be free from it.
Yeah.
No. So what I did, I say, God, here's what. So there are things that were in me that I wanted to get rid of. And I say, Lord, I want to get rid of this.
Yeah.
And then there are things like pornography that I didn't actually want to get rid of. So I said, here, I said, God, give me the desire to want to get rid of this.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
I'm not going to go before God and lie. I want to get rid of this, but really and truly a longing for it. Still, no, I'm playing that.
Yeah.
So right now I'm in a place where I don't want to be free from it. I want to hold on to it, but I know it's wrong.
It's right. Okay.
And I need to let it go.
Okay.
So give me the desire to want to be free from it. And then I came across, I think it was a Charisma magazine I was reading. And there was this article that a guy wrote because he had been addicted to pornography too.
Okay.
He wrote a letter to porn stars.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
In which he apologized to them for his for his viewing of them, how he viewed them, what he considered them to be, the fact that they had just become like sex objects and whatnot. He wrote a letter apologizing to them. That did something for me.
Okay.
It caused me to realize that addiction to pornography or to anything else, it's not just a problem. It's not just a weakness I have.
Right.
It's sin. And I had to acknowledge it as that. One of the problems we have with, again, whether it's addicted to pornography or anything. And by the way, there are women that are just as addicted to pornography as men.
Yeah.
So one of the problems we have is that we don't see it as sin. We see it as a problem I have. I have a problem controlling my sex life. I have a problem with my mind and as imagine things.
Yeah.
So we see it. We don't classify it as sin, because to classify it as sin is to feel condemned because I've sinned.
Right.
But what we forget is that if we sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous. And if we confess our sins, he's faithful and just to forgive us and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness.
Yeah.
But we tend to want to stay in that safe zone.
Yeah.
I have a weakness. Everybody have a weakness.
Yeah.
And my own is sex.
Is this, yeah.
Or my own is pornography.
Yeah.
Or my own is cigarette, or whatever the case might be. But when I read that article, it opened up my eyes. You have to see the thing for what it is. Until you do that, you can't deal with it. Until you see it for what it is. So you're seeing the lion there, and you're telling yourself it's a kitten. So you come in to play with the kitten, he go bite you.
Let me ask you this. Apart from, so somebody who is not inclined to religious beliefs, how would you help that person to understand that it is still wrong to have this perception of another human through this lens?
If I can't use religious talk, if I can't use Bible per se with them,
Yeah.
I would have to shift to the aspect of trying to help that person to realize the simple facts of us as human beings,
Yeah.
how naturally speaking, how we should relate to each other
Right.
and how we should treat each other. I often tell people that sometimes when I'm doing funeral services and I'm trying to share the truth of the gospel with folks, I often tell them, I say, listen, I say, if you don't want to accept Jesus Christ as Savior and Lord and all of this kind of stuff, I say, that's up to you. But we could still make a significant difference in the way this world operates by simply employing basic principles like good morning and forgive me and I'm sorry and I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Just those simple things,
Yeah.
Just those simple everyday things that, by the way, the Bible teaches.
Yes. Yeah.
But basically,
yeah.
One would have to understand that that other person is a person just like myself.
Yeah.
So we can start to think in terms of how would I feel if I'm treated like a piece of meat? How would I feel if I'm not respected as a human being?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's extremely difficult to divorce the issue from biblical truth.
Yeah.
Because that's the foundation of who we are and how we supposed to behave and conduct ourselves,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But basically, if this person, I don't believe in the Bible, I don't believe in God, and all this and holiness and all these things, well, okay, let's forget holiness for now. Let's just, what if that was your daughter?
Yeah.
What if that was your child?
Yeah.
So you sitting down watching a porn film, there's somebody's daughter there. What if one of these days you put on the TV and it's your daughter in it? How you gonna feel?
Yeah.
And people don't think along that line. They don't think along that line.
Yeah.
Right? But if people begin to think that way, they begin to realize the foolishness they're involved in.
Yeah.
There's somebody else's daughter.
Yeah.
It could very well be yours.
And the reason why I asked you to share on it from that perspective is because just as you're saying, I remember I had attended was like a marriage, wasn't counseling, was a marriage seminar or something. It wasn't even marriage, married life. And I remember there was a guy who asked the facilitator. He was a pastor. I think that was the pastor. It was a pastor he asked at that time. I know they had like one of those counselors. I don't know if they were a believer per se.
Okay.
But they asked the pastor, and it's almost like they were alluding to the fact that, well, the woman supposed to satisfy me, And the pastor was saying, well, then it's supposed to be that way around as well. Now, porn and pornographic material, especially for men, as you said, it creates this depiction of the woman as simply sexually gratifying objects, not human beings.
Correct.
And because of the fact that their emotions and who they are is not really considered, you find that they're just treated as that.
That's
right. That's a command,
Yeah.
So that is the reason why I asked, because sometimes, as you said, a lot of times we don't see that this is a human being. We don't see that this is somebody's daughter. You don't see that could be somebody's wife and all. You don't know, because what might be the environment by which they involve in this in these activities, right? Yeah. But again, is that you are actually allowing yourself to finance, to fuel, right, an industry, because the statistics are crazy when it comes to pornography and pornographic material. Yep. That is, I would dare say, probably $1 billion industry.
Yep.
Right? So it's evident that apart from it making money for persons, there's a market for it.
Oh, yeah,
because if there's not a market for it, obviously you wouldn't be making money from
Exactly
it.
so.
You know.
Exactly
So it's evident that a lot of times that we don't see that. You're not inclined to the religious side, of it. Just think about how demoralizing it
That's
is.
right.
How as an addiction, what that causes for men and for young men who are now exposed, because I mean, social media has opened up access to this. Both male and female
Yep.
has opened up access
Yep.
for them. I remember, and this was probably one of the most graphic experiences that I've had. I remember seeing in a group chat with some young people. Some I can't remember how it is I just went into it. But in this group chat, there was just a whole host of, it was sex with animals, it was same sex, and the acts and the different positions and I saying to myself, young people in their tender years, they're still dealing with themselves. They still don't even understand their own
That's
bodies,
right,
and their mind is being cultured into perceiving and seeing each other through these lens. They're seeing sex, what is supposed to be something that is experienced between a husband and wife,
Right,
being
yeah.
explorative and
Yeah.
a new experience that they create for themselves. They are seeing this as something casual now. So
Yeah.
now it's like you think that's hook up, like casual sex is a norm, because why? Again, what is being promoted as is something that we just do. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And then now you also have young men who are just constantly thinking porn is normal. It's normal to watch porn.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, even for myself in my younger years, that is something that I had to learn that, this thing is doing something to me that is not healthy.
Yeah.
And where I would probably end up, or what, I was probably to some, I don't think I was as shy as you are. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I probably talked to some of my school friends and them back in the day. But anyway, but it's just the whole thing about that, the whole idea that this thing is really something that defines the image
Yeah.
of another human being in a
Yeah.
very, very poor light.
Yeah. Definitely.
And
Definitely.
if we don't consider the fact that just even as a society, if we don't find ways to address this, we could be putting our young people into a very, very unsafe place when it comes to relationships as we move forward. Because there are some expectations both male and female will be expecting of each other that unrealistically will never be will never happen, because it's not real. But because they are sold to social media and these images, that they could actually find themselves expecting this to happen, and expecting my spouse to do this, or expecting the man to do this, and when you do this or when she doesn't do this, they just walk away because you're not it. You understand?
One of the things, again, I'm trying to stay away from, I'm trying to stay on the line of the person who doesn't necessarily believe in the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to stay along that line for
Yeah,
now.
that's for this little moment.
Yeah,
that's
no problem.
because
Right? Why are there things that we do that we hide to do it, or we try to hide the fact that no. I'm cognizant of the fact that we are becoming less and less concerned about hiding anything, right?
Yeah.
So people boldface now, but just about everything.
Yeah,
but,
there's me. You deal with it, there's
you
me.
understand? But
Yeah.
generally speaking, why do we try to hide to do certain things? Why do we try to keep certain things secret?
Yeah.
Generally, it's because we know it wrong.
Yeah.
We know we shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that comes, so that's one thing. The other thing that comes with it is that we have this ugly habit of creating space for us to do the foolishness. So we create environments.
Yeah.
We look for situations that would allow us the opportunity to do
Yeah.
what we know we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So, what's the old saying? An idle mind is the devil's workshop, and idle hands are the devil's tools.
Yeah.
So we have some idle time. Easiest thing to do is jump on a device,
Yeah.
pull up stuff. You're on your computer, you're checking your emails, a pop-up comes up.
Yeah. Click on it.
Open it.
Yeah.
You don't have to open it.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. You know you have problems. Every time you see a woman, your eyes open big, big, big. So well, then do not go and position yourself where you have to see them.
Yeah.
You understand? Don't go Ash Wednesday morning on Manzanilla or Maracas Bay where you know they're
That's a
coming in the
terrible
bikini
time
to
if you know
cool
you're
down.
struggling.
You understand?
Yeah,
Don't put
yeah.
yourself in that situation.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Don't go and find some romance novel, especially the graphic ones that spell out everything for you, and you sit down there reading that to pass it. You know you're doing stupidness.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in an awkward situation. You're putting yourself in a place to stay addicted to the thing. If you want to break free, do something differently. Feed yourself on. So this is another thing I found. The less I fed myself on sexually explicit material, is the less interested I became in it.
Yeah. Would that have been one of your process to begin freeing yourself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I began to realize that
Yeah.
the less time I spent on it
Yeah.
is the less I thought about it. And my mentality, how I saw the opposite sex, began to reform or be reformed into what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Began to see people as people again and not just as objects and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you keep feeding yourself on it, then it consumes you. It overtakes you. And therefore we have to want to break free from it. We have to see it for what it is. And then if we actually look into the industry, apart from it being $1 billion industry and all that kind of stuff, and some people will say people live in nothing and whatnot, it breaks up homes, it breaks up marriages, it breaks up families, it destroys the individuals who are addicted. Because if you allow yourself to go deep enough, you can't function normal as a human being anymore.
Yeah.
Because it consumes your energy, it consumes your time and everything. It consumes your attention. You can't focus on things like a normal person anymore. It messes you bad. So there is no way that could be considered healthy.
Yeah.
I remember reading one story once about a couple that they were about to get married, and somebody suggested to them that they use pornography to help, start up their sex life. And the wife became addicted immediately.
Wow.
It created problems for them. So again, one of the best ways to cure a problem is to never have the problem start in the first place.
But do you think our society, I get you, but do you think that our society makes it easy for that?
The world doesn't make it easy.
Yeah.
Remember, this is pushed on us from little children. Right? Look, let me put it this way. I could still kind of accept a movie with two adults kissing. I mean, they're not husband and wife, literally.
Yeah.
But when I see movies with, they have little children, 6 and 5 and 6 years old, and they're making them kiss.
Yeah.
I say, God, what are we doing? We're creating monsters.
Yeah.
And we don't realize it. So that's the society we're in. The thing is this. People cuss all around me. In the neighborhood, on the taxi, on the job. If I do not begin to cuss, their cussing could only have so much effect on me and no more. But once I start doing it too, it wouldn't be long because before I become a customer like them. So while all these things are taking place around us, and we are exposed to it, we put on the TV, the show we used to watch a long time that was clean, now get contaminated.
Yeah.
I now have to choose. Am I going to continue to feed myself on these things?
Yeah.
And that is where the journey of turning it around begins. I have to now make the choice.
Yeah.
Am I going to jump on the bandwagon because it's happening around me? So some people use that as an excuse. Well, everybody does cuss every day, so nothing wrong with that and stuff. So am I going to jump on the bandwagon, or am I going to be the fish in the sea that doesn't become salty because of the salt water?
Yeah. Remember the first time I heard that analogy? I was like, oh, that is amazing.
It is.
But it's true.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
Am I going to be the square peg in the wrong hole? Am I willing to be square peg in the wrong hole?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get involved in all the business. So when I heard my adult friends talking about their stuff and talking about this and talking about that, they never knew I ventured into examining and trying to find material.
Yourself,
I never let them know that. Because again, I'm trying to juggle being a Christian with doing this on the side. But once I came to terms with this is wrong, it is sin, it is degrading, it is ungodly, it is demeaning, I say, God, change my heart. I can't continue to do this. I have to stop. I met a pastor in Grenada following hurricane, something that passed through Grenada a few years ago. I think, it was a hurricane, I think. Mash up Grenada. And with Itnak, we went across. And there was a pastor there, Pastor Brian Selkridge. He said this to me in conversation. I've never forgotten this phrase. I hold it as part of my mantra. Purity of self is power to speak.
Wow.
Purity of self is power to speak. When you live right, you could talk about anything that needs to be addressed. When you are not guilty of the thing, you could talk about it.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons why I speak openly. I've spoken openly about the fact that there was a point in my life where I was addicted to porn.
Yeah.
Because most people wouldn't talk about it. But I have nothing to hide. I'm not on that anymore. I'm off of that. Thank God for His grace. Thank God for deliverance. Thank God I was willing to do the work and stuff. So now I could talk about it without feeling condemned, without feeling like a hypocrite, anything like that. And some people can't talk about it because they're doing it. And some people, if they talk about it, they feel condemned because they're still in it.
Right.
But we have to be willing. We have to be willing to break free, because it'll just destroy us. It'll just destroy us.
I want to ask you, we come into a wrap, but I want to ask you to speak or give some sort of recommendations to 3 groups of persons. You want me to give me all 3 one time or give one by one?
One at a time.
One at a time. So the first group of persons I want you to talk to is men who are actually dealing with pornography presently. They have, they're struggling. It's something that they occasionally find themselves, inclined to. I wanted to talk to them. That's the first group of persons.
If you're married, talk to your wife. One of the reasons why we stay in addictions of whatever type, is because we keep it private. We keep it to ourselves. That is our secret sin. And as long as I keep it private, I create opportunities for me to do it again and again. If I become accountable, then it exposes me to be checked upon. It exposes me to be scrutinized. It makes me accountable. I have to answer questions.
Okay.
And if I want to be truthful, then me letting you know, babe, I'm struggling with this. No. maybe the average wife might get pissed off mad.
Right.
She will get real angry.
Right.
She will have all kind of questions. Why? Yeah. So what happened? So me ain't enough? Da, 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 da. You might get it good.
Right.
Eventually, she will calm down. And she'll realize that you're trying to get out of it now. Because you want to be the person that you're supposed to be.
Right.
It makes you accountable.
Okay.
So that it's no longer hidden. It is basically out in the open now.
Yeah.
And therefore, this person could keep you accountable. How was your day today? How are you going with that issue?
Yeah.
You overcoming? How can I help you to overcome faster or more efficiently, whatever the case might be? So that's the first thing I would say.
What would, because that's what I don't want you to come off from that point. But what about a man who doesn't have a spouse?
Right. So
okay, go ahead.
So that's what I say. So the married man,
right, okay,
talk to your wife.
Right.
The other person you could talk to, whether you're married or not married, is not another woman,
Right.
but a male figure in your life that you respect.
Okay.
Your pastor, an elder, maybe a father figure, somebody you could trust who will not go and blab your business all over the place, but somebody who could look out for you.
You think somebody in the field of therapy, you will recommend somebody like that as well, a counselor or?
There are times when that might become necessary.
Okay.
But I think one has to begin the journey.
Okay.
And see where you're at and if you need that kind of help.
Okay.
So I wouldn't rule out therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, wherever that might fit in.
Okay.
But many of the circumstances in our lives do not require us reaching that level if we are willing to do the work. And sometimes all we need is somebody we could confide in,
right,
who we know is there for us and wouldn't judge us and wouldn't condemn us when we come and speak. So even for leaders who find ourselves in that kind of situation, we are addicted to porn or we are addicted to whatever else, find somebody to talk to. There is somebody available that you could trust, that you could lean on, who wouldn't expose you and who wouldn't judge you either.
Yeah.
So find that person and open up your heart to them. Because in most cases, you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
You need guidance, you need help, you need support. You need somebody to be able to call you out of the blue.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you up to right now? Gosh, boy, you catch me, boy. Now put it on the TV, boy. Thanks for calling me.
Yeah.
You understand? Hey, partner, what you doing? I come and I check you. Yeah, come quick, boy, because right now I'm about to put on the video.
Free time right now.
You understand? So come quick. Let me hang out or let you go and play some football or something.
Yeah.
So have somebody that you could talk to.
Okay.
And then the other thing I would say is, and I guess this might fall in all categories, acknowledge the thing for what it is and don't pet it. Don't play with it. Don't treat it like it's no big deal. It's a big deal. See that's a big deal and ask God for help.
And deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. The next will be young men who might be thinking about exposing themselves because of influence or just curiosity.
Don't.
Right? The friend and them telling them about it, boy, I'm bringing this thing for you to see.
Don't
check
take
out this
basket.
side.
Don't take bait. The old saying, your friends just carry you, but they don't bring you back. It's true.
Yeah.
People will lead you down a certain path. They can't help you afterwards to come out because they themselves trapped also. They don't know the way out.
Yeah.
And as far as they're concerned, nothing wrong with what they're doing. As a matter of fact, some of them know what they're doing wrong. But,
and one company.
But they ain't showing that. They want company. Misery like company. But as I said, for me, it began with my interest being piqued.
Right. Yeah.
Kill the interest early o'clock.
Yeah.
Cut off the interest early o'clock. Don't pursue it. Because once you start down the road, young fellas growing up, they start smoking. What are you doing that for? You don't need to do that. To feel like a man? That don't make you a man. I can tell you what make you a man, and it's not that. I wouldn't say it on it, but it's not that. You understand? So, like I said, I mean, even with health, even in not only here but all over the place, the best way to deal with the issues of health is to prevent getting sick. is to prevent lifestyle diseases rather than trying to deal with it after it comes. It costs more money. It costs more time. It destroys your life. It destroys your ability to work. It destroys your family.
And finances.
So deal with stuff early o'clock. Avoid the problem to start with, and it doesn't become a problem. No, I know that is like saying, jump up in the sky and hope to stand up in the air. But the thing is, the reality is, if I don't start going down a wrong road, I can't end up in the ditch down the road.
True.
So I have to be mindful. I have to be conscious.
Yeah.
You know, the book of Proverbs talks about Solomon writes, and he's writing to his son, a young boy. And he's giving him instructions. He said, boy, stay away from this strange woman, boy. That woman, when you're walking on the road, she calling you suit. They say, come now, my husband gone away for 3 months. Come and let me stay here and have our fill of love. And what he say, he doesn't know that her bedroom leads down to the chambers of hell. He said, don't be dotish, boy, stay far away.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, that we don't listen. All you live, all you like, what they're telling me is we time now.
Yeah.
They don't listen.
Yeah.
And they don't realize. You know, I told some young people today, I said, listen. I tell the young fella, I say, listen to your father. I say, take instructions from him. Take guidance from him. I tell the young lady, I say, your mother, I say she might drive your nerves crazy sometimes. She might be, you might find her aggravating. But it's not from a bad place she's coming. She's just trying to safeguard you from sorrow down the road. And young people today don't realize that we were young once. What them doing today, we did that too. We passed through it. And many of us end up in a really ugly place. So when we try to tell them now, don't do that. We're trying to cramp this. We're not trying to cramp your style. But you don't have to make the same mistakes we made. You don't have to do the same foolishness that we did. And you don't have to mess up other people's lives the way we messed up other people's lives. So you can just avoid it. Just do the right thing. Don't do the wrong thing. Don't get yourself involved. I know your interest speaking. I know you're young and you're vibrant, and them sex hormones in you, they kick in hell. They're crazy all over the place. Listen, find ways,
positive outlets.
Find positive outlets. But not only that, do research, find information that would help direct your heart and direct your thoughts otherwise. Don't fall prey. Don't fall prey to the friends. And boy, everybody doing it, boy. You're the only one, boy. I'm telling you, waiting until they get old and great. Don't study them. Don't study them. Because when they have 5 children on the outside, they can't take care of none. And every one of them 5 children, mother bringing them up in the police station and the court for maintenance. Ask yourself if you want that. Because you go try all the protection you want. Pull out, condom, all kind of different things. And you will still get somebody pregnant. And then you will have hell to pay for that. Don't do it.
The last group is men who don't think or see pornography as a problem. What you would say to them?
You have a problem. That is a problem. No, listen. Yeah. Somebody said when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right? You can't help somebody out of a problem until they're willing to acknowledge they have a problem. Yeah. You can't help somebody out of a bad situation until they're willing to realize that the situation is a bad one. Yeah. Now, you could try to show them that. You could try to convince them of that. You could talk to them. You could demonstrate it to them if that's possible. But until they are willing to see it for that, there is no help for such a person. All I could say to persons who are in that position is that you check yourself. If your conscience still works, you just feel bad every time you go through an episode of pornography. Whether it's something you did or something you're watching or whatever. If your conscience still works, you just feel a how. In most cases, you have to hide to do what you're doing. Whether it's to watch or to read or to listen, or if it's something, or if it's you yourself doing the thing, you have to hide to do it. Why are you hiding? If nothing wrong with it, what are you hiding for? You're hiding because instinctively you know something wrong with it. The Bible says the law of God is written on men's hearts. That even without theoretical knowledge of stuff, there's something inside us that tells us what is right from what is wrong. We know it instinct. We know it deep down. Yeah. And we just fight it. And some of us fight it so hard until our consciences become numb. The Bible says it's seared with our heart, like when your tongue gets called, you don't feel nothing again. Some of us have done that. But ask yourself the questions. Why am I hiding? Why am I keeping it secret? Why I don't want my wife to know what I'm doing? Why I have to shut down the screen in the office every time somebody come around by my desk so they wouldn't see what I was doing? Because what you're doing wrong. You know you're not supposed to be doing it. Why you had to clean your history on your computer ever so often, not to make space in the computer, but just to clear the track of what you've been doing. Why are you doing that? Because you know something wrong with it. And until we accept it's wrong, we'll continue to do it and we wouldn't want to change. For me, I had to accept that it was wrong. It wasn't just a problem. It wasn't just a weakness. It was nasty and it was disgusting.
Thank you so much.
I hope it was helpful. I hope for our listeners that it was helpful. I was telling Darrell before we started, I believe in being transparent. What we spoke about is not who I am today. It was a part of my life. I thank God I was able to see it for what it was and address it. And I know that if you're going through this and whatever other addiction it might be, it's possible to break free. God could do it just like that. In most cases, he doesn't. You have some hard work to do. But if you're willing to do it, the benefits are worth it.
Thank you so much. And I think that, so many men and women, I know our conversation, would have been directed towards men, but I know that there were men. Oh, yeah, no problem. Good to see wifey, Lioness, making sure that the thing organized nice. But I'm really glad that, we could have had this conversation, because I feel that so many men think that it is something that we, in some cases, probably don't need to address because it might be our phase. But I think sometimes the damage that is done when it's not addressed, it's more detrimental, rather than we actually saying, hey, you know what? This thing needs to be addressed. This thing needs to be spoken about. And it's just to highlight the fact that, you're not the only man that probably would have had the experience, probably going through the experience. Yeah. And it's not as if there is any hope, as with any addiction, as Pastor Marlon would have highlighted, one of the main things is we have to recognize that this thing is not healthy, it is not right, it is not wrong, and it's only going to quantify into negative experiences for us. So, we want as men to understand and accept that. I had to, in my younger years, I really had to understand that this doesn't have to be part of my journey. That's right. Because I would have been around men and say, nah, but that's normal, it's normal for young fellas to be watching porn and stuff. But then, you had to recognize that this thing is not doing me well. That's right. It's not putting me in a good place mentally and emotionally. And in as much as I would have, enjoyed the feeling, it definitely was not healthy.
Can I address one more group of people?
Yes, sure, no problem.
The Christian young person. The Christian single person who has gotten roped in, or somebody's trying to rope you in, or your own emotions trying to rope you in to pornography. Do not do it. Walk in righteousness. Walk in holiness. The day will come when you'll get your husband or your wife and you'll be able to do all of them things. Right now, Paul said, while you are single, you could be holy unto God in both body and spirit. Serve God with your youth. Serve him with your strength. Serve him with your energy. Don't give it over to foolishness. Learn to stand your ground. I ain't talking about killing nobody trying to break in your house. Learn to stand in truth.
Yeah.
Learn to stand in right. Listen, what other people think of you is insignificant. Don't get tied up on what people think. Don't get tied up on how people watch you. The only thing that matters is how God sees you. Christian young person I'm talking to. So walk in truth. Walk in righteousness. Do not give yourself the opportunity. Do not create the environment and create the space for you to do foolishness. All right? Don't do it. Guard your heart. The Bible says, guard your heart. TV tells us, follow your heart, follow your heart. The heart of man is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? The scripture says. But the scripture tells us to guard it because out of it are the issues of life. Guard it with all your might. We guard the things that are precious to us. We guard treasure. We guard our bank accounts. We guard the things that are valuable. Your heart is valuable. Guard it with all your might. And make sure what you put into it, or more so what comes out of it, is right and is wholesome and is godly. As German Edwards would say, at the end of the day, Jesus, I just want to make you smile. Make Jesus smile at the end of every single day by walking right.
Nice. Thank you so much. And there is no other better place to end than right there. Guys, thank you all so much. Those of you all on the live. I saw a few persons well past through. Some person not seeing. You could only see sometimes as the names, a couple of them that are there. Thank you all so much. That was joining us on the live again. Much appreciation to the guy in the background behind the camera, Mr. Eric Alvarez. Thank you so much from Red TT for facilitating the live. And for those of you all that are viewing this afterward, listen, drop your comment. Please let us know what you thought about the conversation. If there's anything that you feel that you would have liked us to address, or we could talk about it maybe in another episode. Feel free to drop those comments. Yeah, we will appreciate it. There's your boy Anthony D from the Youth Code. Don't forget, check out my channel, the Youth Code on YouTube as well. And check out the conversation that we're having there also. Yeah, there's your boy Anthony D. We out. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.